Well, folks, after President Trump's endorsement of Byron Donald's, he has now made it official, announcing last night on Sean Hannity's show that he will be seeking the GOP nomination to be the next governor of the great state of Florida after current Governor DeSantis' term ends at the end of 2026. Obviously, got a lot to dig into here, but before we do, if you're new to the channel, if you've never found us before, welcome to the channel. Drop down below and hit that subscribe button and make sure you never miss another video from us in the future. Let's take a look at Byron Donald's announcement on Sean Hannity's show last night.
I mean, you got the support of President Trump. Where do you stand? Are you ready to make the plunge?
Well, look, Sean, after a lot of prayer, a lot of thoughts with my family and my friends, I'm here to announce my candidacy to be the next governor of the great state of Florida. And Sean, we have a wonderful state. I got to Florida when I was 17 years old off of a Greyhound bus with just a trunk full of clothes. And over the rest of my time in Florida, I built a family. I built a career, 17 years in financial services. I joined the Tea Party movement, was in the conservative movement. I was able to serve 4 years in the state legislature, 4 years in Congress. And I think now is the time to now take the mantle and lead our state into the future. We've had a great governor. Ron DeSantis has done a tremendous job for our state. But now the job is to keep the best state in the country as the best state in the country. And so that's going to be.
Absolutely, 100% agree. We must keep Florida as this shining light on the top of the hill within inside of the United States that is going to drive. This is who we should be more like. If we're looking at the United States, this is the state that we should be more like. Now, obviously, we know President Trump, through his endorsement or his weight behind Donald's, before Donald's even had jumped into the race, he took to Truth Social, really praising Donald's as a highly respected congressman and a total winner, and then went on to urge him to run, offering his complete and total endorsement. And you think back to 2018, there was a crowded Republican field for the GOP nomination. Trump backed Ron DeSantis, which really propelled him from on the national stage, a relatively unknown congressman to the governor's mansion. Now, with Trump urging Donalds to do the same thing, it's clear, it's a very clear signal of where he wants the state's leadership to go after Governor DeSantis's term ends in 2026. Now, Representative Byron Donald, he's 46 years old. We can jump over to his page over here. Let's see. He's 46 years old. He lives down in Naples, Florida. He was initially got into politics when he was named, or I believe it would be appointed by then Governor Rick Scott, to lead a board of trustees at a state college in Florida, and then eventually went on to win a seat in the Florida House of Representatives in 2016, and then went on to win a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, Florida's 19th congressional district. He won that. Now, he came to Florida, I believe, when he was like 17 years old. He has 3 children. He's married to his wife, Erica. They've been married for, I believe, about 20 years now at this point. And he is a rising member in the Republican Party. And I don't like to play race politics or identity politics, but he's a rising young black man in the Republican Party, which is huge, which is exactly what the Republicans need, which President Trump followed through on that in the 2024 election. It's like this Republican victory was the most diverse Republican victory as far as, gender, race, age. It was the most diverse Republican victory that we have seen in decades. But in this race, there have also been some other candidates that have expressed interest. The big one was Casey DeSantis. It was reported, so say, that she was mulling a run because there were donors that were urging her to run. Obviously, DeSantis would have thrown his support behind her, but as of right now, she is not going to be running for governor, according to her and the governor of Florida. Some other people have been like Matt Gaetz. I think at this point it's really going to clear. I don't see Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz and Donalds are both close allies of President Trump. I do not see him jumping in this race now that President Trump has thrown his weight behind Donalds in the primary. Obviously, we're probably still going to see some less names that are not nationally recognizable that jump in this race. But ultimately, I think if Donald really wants this, it's his race at this point. One thing I wanted to point out about Donald was he went on talking with Hannity to praise Governor DeSantis. I absolutely love that. Governor DeSantis is my favorite governor in America, hands down. Nobody is better than him. Saying, we have had a great governor. Ron DeSantis has done a tremendous job for our state. But now the job is to keep it the best state in the country. And the best state, it's like, and that's exactly what someone like Byron Donald could do. It's like, I'm very excited to see what happens with Byron Donald in this race. If anybody else jumps in, obviously on the Democrat side, we've got a couple of, a minority leader of the Florida House of Representatives, a state senator and a Miami-Dade county chair, and then another state senator. So really no names that have national recognition at this point. I honestly, it's like, I think Donald's it's going to be a tighter race. I don't think he is as popular in Florida as Governor DeSantis is. But ultimately, we're going to see how this goes. He's got a 2-year runway to run a good campaign, raise good money, and really follow through on his promises and continue the work that Governor DeSantis has been doing for the last 8 years in Florida. Now, just to kind of wrap things up, the Florida 2026 gubernatorial race is going to shape up to be very, very pivotal in the state's future. The state has been very pivotal the last 4 years in this transformation to the America First Party. And with Trump's endorsement, Byron Donald's, the GOP field, it's basically his. And as potential candidates are going to weigh their options, Florida can expect a dynamic race and a race that we should be watching very, very closely to see who is going to be the next governor for the state of Florida. Put in the weight behind, not willing to endorse Byron Donalds at this point. He wouldn't be my top pick, but ultimately I think he could be he is a candidate that could follow through with what Governor DeSantis has done over the last 8 years. So that's going to wrap things up for today, folks. Appreciate you tuning in. If you're new here, drop down below, hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, drop down below, hit that subscribe button just so you get notified when we're putting stuff out there. We'll catch you next time, folks.